Welcome to Jam Sessions backstage at Nova Scotia Music Week 2021. I'm Andrew Walsh from the Second Button Podcast and Andrew's Alcove, and with me is one of the co-hosts of Jam Sessions,
Darcy Walsh. Hello.
And we're here today with Terra Spencer. Terra discovered her love of songwriting while working as a funeral director in Nova Scotia and touring with country artist Ryan Cook. Since her 2018 debut as a solo artist, she has won over audience with her deft fingerstyle guitar, gospel piano, butterscotch voice, and onstage humor. Her second album, Chasing Rabbits, is a collection of winter songs about long-distance love, wildlife encounters, and places that feel like home in a room of 5 or 500. Terra's show is knee-to-knee conversation with natural storyteller. The real deal.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today, Terra.
It is so hard not to giggle while you read that bio.
I know.
Sitting right here.
Yeah. I've been reading a lot of them and realizing a lot of the people I'm talking to wrote them, and we're reading them right back to them. So yeah.
Just absolutely cringing here.
And I make sure to put the radio voice on too.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Exactly.
Polish it up.
So one thing I wanted to mention right off the bat was a quick anecdote that Andrew missed out on. When we were in between recordings here, Andrew was out of the room for a minute. Dakota was wearing a bunny mask that she found here in on Prince. That is part of a promotion for Terra's album.
Yeah.
And she decided to hide in the corner and jump out like a bunny at Terra as she walked around the corner to join us in the room today.
Really?
Yeah. So she had a nice little fright first thing on her Saturday morning.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, a little bit of a lack of sleep, and yeah, you can get a good jump out of me.
So I do want to go back and talk about your start, but since I mentioned it, there's little bunny masks all over the Inn on Prince this weekend in support of Terra's Chasing Rabbits.
Yeah.
So maybe before we dive back to the beginning, you can help me, because I've been swamped researching all of these bands. It's just been a wonderful experience. But when I look at yours, I was aware of that, the Chasing Rabbits album that you're promoting.
Yeah.
You had the Brick and Mortar single just out not long ago, end of October. Yeah, okay. And do you have Bees and Birds?
Oh my gosh.
What's that?
No. Oh no. That's a song that no one's supposed to know about. So
okay.
I think I kind of lost my mind a bit, maybe during the pandemic.
Sure.
Most of us had.
Yeah, I'm not alone in that. So I thought that it would last a couple of weeks, and we'd be kind of hunkered down in our houses, and it would be like, dare I say, like just a little bit fun in a sense, to be tucked in with your family, like an extended storm day.
Yeah.
So I set up a blanket fort in our basement on a purely impulse move, and to have a quiet space to do things in. And ended up doing a live stream show that lasted for months from this blanket fort, and started just recording bits and pieces of music just for kicks. Now, some people have become full-fledged producers over the pandemic and made entire albums and just mastered it. But for me, there's this one little song. I began writing songs, like really silly novelty songs, just for a laugh. And Birds and Bees kind of goes back to that. And I set myself a challenge because of Bandcamp Fridays. I just wanted to write and record and publish a song in a day. Yeah. Just for kicks.
Cool.
So no one is really supposed to know about that song. And here we are spending 5 minutes talking about it. But yeah, it's just a ridiculous song where I just tracked it in my basement, literally just for fun, and then forgot about it.
Oh, that's fun.
The funny story is I got an email out of the blue, because I stuck it up on Bandcamp for Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. And then got an email that the CBC library had bought the song for 99 cents.
Oh, no.
Like, in the streaming world, that would be like, I don't know, 7,000 streams or something like that. So yeah, go figure. You can send music out in the world and try and get people to listen. And the one thing you put up there that you're totally embarrassed about, that's the first thing someone will ask you about on a podcast.
Take off. Yeah. That is funny. So we'll get into what else you're promoting here, and because you have a lot of upcoming stuff as well. Yeah. But I would like to go back. You haven't been doing the music thing for too long. You're a funeral director.
Yeah.
That's still something you do, I imagine.
I'm still a licensed funeral director.
So how did the transition go? I'm not going to guess your age. I'm assuming we're somewhere in a decade ballpark from each other, because I might be a little older than you think. So
give yourself some credit. Yeah, I think last night, I don't know, I could be wrong about this, but on stage I proclaimed last night that I was the oldest showcasing artist here. I think that might be true. So those two worlds really kind of happened side by side. Mm-hmm. So in 2014, I'd been the organist at the funeral home in the little community where I grew up, and played at services for a number of years. But the folks that I worked with were of a certain generation and realized that someone with computer skills could be really useful. And got conscripted then. It sort of escalated, and I became a funeral director. Got my license in 2014. But that's also when I met Ryan Cook. So we met at a music festival while I was scooping ice cream. And he was hiring on people as backup singers for a project he was working on. So at the same time, this new chapter as a funeral director opened up, and then I began traveling around, playing shows with Ryan. Mm-hmm. And that's around the same time that I started writing songs, too. So those two worlds go hand in hand in kind of nice ways. I mean, I write story songs for the most part. And I always feel like there's a kinship between like trying to sum up someone's life in an obituary and trying to sum up a whole story in a 3 or 4 minute song. It's the same kind of process. The parallel. Yeah, that's boiling it down.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's why I was kind of curious because you had written back something about that when we were corresponding, and then I was reading your bio, and I'm like, oh, she actually does work at funerals. We can talk about it.
Oh, yeah, that's fair game.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome.
Where did you grow up?
Sure. So I grew up in a little village called Somerville, Hants County. It's about an hour and a bit outside of Halifax, rural Nova Scotia on the Avon River. Yeah.
Is that along where you are, different direction?
Different direction.
Yeah, I thought so.
Well, yeah.
Same distance
different angle.
away in the same province, but in a different direction. Yeah, fair enough. So, since that time, you've had a few releases. Mm-hmm. Maybe you could walk our listeners through a little bit. It's funny, this is just a little caveat here. When I'm going through these, I admit it right off the beginning, the first guys we had were, I think, maybe our youngest guest.
Sure.
So, I had to tell them that I bank on discography as the beginning timeline for me doing research into an artist.
Right.
And nowadays, it's not like I can't go pick out a stack of CDs and say, they have 4 albums. These are the years. And so this is the timeline of the band. Yeah. There's digital releases, like stuff like the example we already used, where it's just like a throwaway thing, but it's there. So to type up a timeline does not work anymore. So maybe, what has it been? 3 years maybe you've been doing this?
Yeah, 3 and a bit. So I have a pretty precise start to my own timeline. I mean, I used to open Ryan Cook shows for a while and play my own songs, but my first official show of my own was New Year's Eve, so 2017 turning into 2018.
Okay.
And as a landmark, I started recording my first record the next morning. So New Year's Day, I teamed up with a musician named Mike T. Kerr, and we recorded the first song that ended up being the last song on my first record. So 2019, the first album was called Other People's Lives. And it was kind of the first batch of songs, other than the ridiculous ones that I just post on Facebook for a laugh. But we worked on that project through 2018, and then it came out early 2019.
And you seem to, just a couple of the anecdotes already, it seems like you like to set challenges for yourself. And then just for the fun of trying to meet the challenge. that seems to be coming out here.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're here at a conference when you're supposed to be building your strategy and setting goals and, building your team and making plans for yourself. But this has all been so haphazard, this adventure in music, that all of it has just been like throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks.
For sure.
And the funny thing is, at a conference like this, when you're chatting with other people in the community in different ways, that's kind of what everybody's doing in music right now, because the way music used to work even 10 or 15 years ago has been upended. The way people do things, and then the pandemic hits, and
that's been our
normal
recurring conversation.
Yeah.
There's been a year with very little live music, plus technology at home, so you can actually do stuff at home, and everyone's kind of the same vibe from everybody. They can just make their own music on their own time schedule, and
where people like before would be disconnected and hang out with people of similar interests, and so they got into a garage, and there was garage bands for decades.
Right.
Now people are being isolated, but they have technology for connection, and then they can learn anything they want and do anything they want, so they can create anything they want, as long as we're okay shifting from physical to digital.
Right.
Then that's available. But myself being someone that really likes the physical still, because I have a little collector mentality.
Yeah.
It's nice to see that these events are happening again, and there's so many people, because I do find that having the foundation from the digital, so I'm familiar with these people and I get an idea of what you people are like. Like I feel like I know everyone as they're coming in now before I even do the interview.
Yeah.
Because of the availability digitally.
Right.
But then to go out and see all these live performances, this is the first time I've been to something this big where I'm walking away with very small amount of physical media, and I'm okay with that. Like, it's not like I missed out because it's not here.
Right.
If it was lined up down the hallways, I would feel like that was what I was gravitating towards. But it's nice to see that you can still have the digital stuff to push your stuff out there and build your audience, so that you can make your money on your live shows and you can have fun while you're doing it. So it's really great to see that happen around everywhere. And I'm seeing for you too, like you talked about the early part of your career here where you started, and we had mentioned at the beginning about the Chasing Rabbits album. But you had mentioned to me that you will be or have been doing some recording with another artist. So I can let you talk about that.
Sure.
As well, I'm seeing these little cards around the building this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. Apparently you did, is it vocal work or guitar? Or?
Vocal stuff. So, part of the advantage, like you say, about people setting up shop in their own version of a blanket fort in the basement is that suddenly you can participate in projects that you might have not had the opportunity to, or it's become totally normal to just fly in tracks from all over the place and collaborate with people all over the world, instead of trying to get people into the studio and wrangling the logistics of that. So it's opened up the door for me. I can speak to a couple of things in what you just said there. For one, my big goal, maybe just as a reaction to the isolation of the pandemic, I usually play solo, but I was so hungry to collaborate with people in whatever way I could for this year. And I mean, that wish has been granted in a lot of ways. In one case, a big one, and it'll stretch into next year, but with this next album that I'm working on now. So I just put out Brick and Mortar, which is a reunion with one of my favorite musicians on the planet, Stuart Legier. And he sang with me on the first song I ever put out into the world in 2018. So we teamed up again for another tune called Brick and Mortar. But I've also been working on a whole album in a studio, the old-fashioned way, with my friend Ben Kaplan, and that'll be the focus of next year's energies. But we'll talk about that, but I have to ask you first of all, so if you are still a collector, do you collect CDs?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Way too many.
Really? Okay, I thought you might have been an all vinyl.
Yeah, no. I have, it's an unhealthy volume of CDs. And my daughter's here. Would you confirm that the living room is more CDs than couch? Yeah.
So you have a player still.
Oh yeah,
Excellent.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah.
that's the
That's
ticket.
going to be the thing that dates me for the rest of my life. People are going to be like, "What is that pile of stuff over there?"
Vinyl used to date us,
Yeah,
but now vinyl dates you as being younger.
yeah.
Again.
Vinyl, you could
Yeah, it's
you could
flipped
just be a
around
hip
again.
kid
Yeah.
now. and
I'd do
be
both.
fine.
Whatever. Yeah.
Do you think CDs will loop around again? Do you think they're going to become cool?
know.
Cassettes are back.
I suspect cassettes being back, and since cassettes have been back as a collector item, I noticed that CDs have really plummeted in price. Like, if you're paying more than $2, you're probably overpaid, which is sad for the industry, which is why it died. But once those disappear and thrift shops and stuff start throwing them in the garbage because it's not worth the space,
Yeah.
then they're going to be scarce.
Yeah.
And then when people want to collect something that's scarce, then the new people at the time, which it may be you might be like, you know what? All these young kids really want a CD for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to put a real
retro.
cool cover on it so they can put it on the shelf because they're never going to listen to it. They're going to listen to it on their phone.
There's that. You know what? I had that thought at one point. Like, would anyone really notice if there wasn't an actual
if there
CD
wasn't-
inside the case?
I thought that with cassettes because you see on Bandcamp. I have a couple of them I've almost bought. I was like, oh, cool. They put that on cassette. I could get that, put it on it. I'm like, I'm never going to listen to it on cassette,
I
though.
know.
Like,
You could sell a jewel case with a QR code on the inside, and that's it.
yeah.
No CD.
There you go.
Sorry, planet.
Yes. I'm just making disposable plastic.
Yeah.
Just packaging.
Yes.
No product.
Yeah.
So, what would you recommend that we add to the end of this for the people listening? As this is who Terra Spencer is. A couple
song would
songs,
you like?
maybe.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you could give Brick and Mortar a go. It's a pretty sad tune. But this weekend, like, I am thrilled to be here actually celebrating Chasing Rabbits, which is why I've littered the place with bunny masks.
Yes.
Thanks for repping me there, Dakota.
At Music Week, the rabbit chases you.
Yeah. So it was nice because putting out an album in a pandemic, you don't really get that full-on feel of it being a party. Like you've actually made something.
Right.
It's a pretty quiet birth into the world. So yeah, since we're here for Chasing Rabbits, let's play a track called Coyotes.
Yes, I have that in the car. Actually, I was listening to it this morning.
Let's
so.
go for that one.
Yeah.
Perfect. The great thing for me, that record is a great blend of like being a pandemic project, but still we pulled people into the studio, an actual studio, like one by one at a time, and then just had some faith that it would all make sense in the end. So to me, the record, feels like all the people I'd want to have in a room playing with me, even though we weren't together all at once at the same time. So yeah, I can go with that one.
I think I think the listeners will be happy with those selections. Actually, they can. It's a nice little range.
Sad
you
song
have-
and a murder.
I'm just trying to think. I was doing this earlier. I don't know exactly when the air date's going to be, so I will let you know. Do you have anything coming up in December tour date wise that you might want to announce? Because I'm sure it will be out at least by sometime in December early on. So.
Yeah, so just ahead of December, we'll be finishing up. I'm pairing up again the Year of Duets with a fellow named Daniel James McFadgen, one of my favorite songwriters from the Valley.
Okay.
I got to sing a tune on his album too that just came out in October, so we'll be pairing up for a show or two in the Valley area.
Perfect. Okay.
December.
So everybody listening can look out for that and check out these songs as we're fading out. We'll have those continue to play for you. And Andrew.
Where can we find you online so people can check those dates and stuff?
Sure. terraspencer.ca, Terra Spencer.ca, and all the other social places, except for TikTok, because I have teenagers and I can't put them through that.
Yeah.
Fair enough. My eldest told me I probably don't belong on Instagram, so I'm
harsh.
I'm limiting it to the
That's rough. Yeah.
That's like telling you have a face for radio.
Yes, exactly.
We were both told that our whole lives.
Absolutely. Well, we do have another guest coming in, so maybe we could circle back and talk to you in the future with one of your new projects.
Super. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for
Great.
coming.
sunrise on a set of worn out skis. My thoughts were hanging heavy as the snow upon the trees. I was thinking of my granddad, how he'd given many warnings to watch out for coyotes in the woods on winter mornings. With a dagger in my pocket that could kill me if I fell, I made 2 lines like the highway through the trail I knew so well. At the log bridge by the river, I heard a rustle at my back and caught a glimpse of the coyote that was following my tracks. In her eyes a glow of amber, in a flash she lunged for me. I stumbled in my skis, she ripped my snow pants at the knee. With a mittened hand I wrestled and tried to free my granddad's knife and drove it deep into the soft fur of the dog to save my life. With a whimper she relented and the snow turned angry red. She licked her wounded shoulder while my own leg pulsed and bled. A shadow broke the sunlight through the corner of my eye. A pack of young coyotes come to watch their mother die. Smell their puppy breath, and my thoughts in that brief moment were of life instead of death. As they tore me into pieces and licked my old bones clean, my spirit grew so peaceful, the most at rest I'd ever been. Through their hair, and all the times I'd wronged them, caught my leg in my own snare. I will see no fiery furnace, no box deep in the ground, just a pack of wild coyotes and their high and lonesome sound. I rub my hands and absorb the heat radiating up through the passenger seat. the engine idle silent in the bitter cold. The light shines through a clean gray slate, a whisper of blue, and the weary weight of hearts too heavy for our hands to hold. The hurt comes quick, the words come late, hours spent on an expiry date, and we both have other places we should be. The chance we had has passed us by, a stray plane in a neutral sky, a tear stain drying on a jacket sleeve. Hearts can pound through brick and mortar, cornerstones are crumbling into dust. Walls come down, I come up short. I wanted more, I wanted more, I wanted more of us.
The walls lean in, the roof has caved. One more thing that we can't save. Time and change will win, no matter how we try. It's hard to say no and hard to say when to tear it all down or build it up again. There's a gentle art in saying goodbye. Hearts can pound through brick and mortar, cornerstones are crumbling into dust. Walls come down, I come up short. I wanted more, I wanted more, I wanted more of us. Hearts can pound through brick and mortar,